would come home and just weep over the schoolwork we didn't get done. I mean, this was a big deal for me. We were losing a lot of days over a lot of years.
When we start kind of discovering these bins in our kids, how can we try to bring in some like lifelong application? So what are some things we can do that can help kind of cultivate like how they can apply this in adulthood?
First of all, I think sometimes I love this educator. And I just have to say, I love my work with BJU Press Homeschool, and I used their curriculum a lot. We integrated it. We did a lot of creative things with it. We did a bunch of ages together with it, so we did a lot of things like that. But there's a Christian educator named Ray Vanderlaan, and he said the books we choose are our curriculum and the interruptions God brings are his curriculum. And so we spent a lot of time at the legislature, and I would come home and just weep over the schoolwork we didn't get done. I mean, this was a big deal for me. We were losing a lot of days over a lot of years. And then it's interesting because both of the boys, Lizzie got more involved in the journalistic part of that. How did that play out? And that really did shape what she wanted to do, when she finished college as a career. But the boys spent their time in the legislature. And so Ty learned sales skills. Like, we're in the legislature one day, he's maybe 12, and we're walking up the stairs, and one senator, he says, "Hey, Senator Smith." And he says, "Hey, Ty." And I say, "Ty, how do you know him?" And he says, "Well, Mom, we live here. I know people."
Oh my gosh.
It was such a mess. I said, "I need his vote." And he won't. I can't get him to vote for us. So Ty takes off, and he goes down the stairs, and he grabs this man's hand, and he brings him upstairs, and he says, "We're going up to the lobby," the lobby. And he says, "Senator Smith," this is not his real name. He said, "I want you to meet my mom. My mom is so sweet. You really need to vote for her bill. Mom, tell him about your bill." Well, then we struck up, a friendship. He voted with us. But that was Ty. He was the people person, always connecting people. And he's still in sales to this day, and he connects people. John
I love it.
Became very close to Mike Ferris, who is president and founder of HSLDA. And he spent a lot of time watching court cases unfold in the legislature with me. And he started, and both of the boys worked as aides or whatever they called them in the South Carolina State House, and participated in the Senate Page program just for 6 weeks. Some people go for a year. They just each went for 6 weeks. But so John had always wanted to be a doctor or an oral surgeon, I think more specifically. But the more work he did in the Senate, one of the senators that was the sponsor for all our homeschool legislation said, "John, I really think you need to go to law school." And he did. And so all of these experiences John gained in law. 2 years ago, when we elected our new state superintendent of education, she appointed him as chief legal counsel for the State Department of Education in South Carolina.
Oh my goodness. That's so cool.
So now here he is. He was homeschooled, never in a public school classroom. He homeschools his 4 kids. And yet this is the place where the Lord took all that experience that I viewed as an interruption at the time and gave him great guidance through that. And so it's interesting how, as we, that verse that says, "Make disciples of all the nations," the pastor friend of mine shared is, "As you are going, make disciples." As we are living our lives and doing the things God has called us to as parents and families, then I think we're discipling our kids, and it looks different for each one of them. They each have different spiritual gifts. They each have different callings on their lives. Some are STEM kids, some are free spirits and entrepreneurs. It's just, with homeschooling is glorious because, I really believe God is the ultimate superintendent of education. And he superintends, and he wants to do glorious things for our children. He wants to open doors for them. He wants to see them productive for his kingdom. And so we just work with him, and somehow it's just an amazing way. I just love the time I had with my kids, watching their lives unfold, watching their interests unfold, and being able to shepherd that and curate that just a little bit,
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so encouraging, because I think we forget as parents sometimes, because we're like, homeschool, get things done, like, take care of the house, make dinner, all of the to-dos we do as parents.
Yes.
And we forget that we have this glorious ministry right in front of us.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.